Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I missed so much stuff on tour from like the internet. I swear, whenever I travel, something big happens on Twitch. Like whenever I travel for an extended period of time, shit goes down on Twitch and online. Oh fuck, you know, one thing I wish I was here for. You remember that drama with the Bayonetta voice actress? That was like one time where it was like drama. I was like, oh man, I could actually feel like I could explain this drama in a way that would kind of be more understandable to people and make the money make. Because I saw a lot of people, fuck off, fly. I saw a lot of people who were like talking about it and were like, I don't know what voice actors should be paid. What is how much should they be paid? That was so bizarre watching that happen. And like a lot of things didn't make sense. So the drama's like completely over now. And the story kept changing from what I knew. Like initially the Bayonetta voice actress said that she got only offered $4,000 to voice Bayonetta 3, and then apparently later on she changed the tune and it was something like $15,000. So that was quite interesting how that changed, because those are two different things. And some people were like, oh well, you know, $15,000 sounds like a lot. This fly I'm gonna kill. But the voice actor like, yeah, she did. And also she was apparently into some weird fucking Twitter accounts, which is also not good. It was kind of unfortunate really. So like as a voice actor, okay, so if you're a voice actor, right, your employment requires, unfortunately, that people like you. In some other jobs, doesn't matter if you aren't the nicest person on earth. Because essentially with the voice acting, right, if you want to get hired, when you're auditioning for stuff, the director has to think that, oh, I want to work with this person, right? So I know it sounds odd, but if you're auditioning for something and people don't really like you or you have a bad rap, and people just don't hire you, right? So the one thing you're always trying to do as a voice actor is to not piss people off. You're just trying to do your thing, get it done and get paid. Because, you know, unfortunately, you don't get like set hours. You don't get the contract. You get a job every now and then, and that's got to pay your bills until you get the next job, right? So it's kind of not good if you piss people off who are casting, right? Because ultimately, if they think that you're going to be hard to work with, they're just not going to go with you, right? It just felt bizarre seeing the whole thing unfold. It felt really weird watching it. It was like a voice actor. When I watched her initial video that everyone got on board with her, I sounded bad. But when I first watched it, I was like, she said some stuff that's really weird, and that I don't really know why you would say this as a working professional. Like when there was one thing she said in the video that really made me think, okay, this person is maybe not so trustworthy. In the video at one point she goes, oh, that person will never be Bayonetta and I don't support them. Or there was something along those lines where they kind of threw the other person under the bus, the person who's now voicing Bayonetta, and I understand they're annoyed. But it's like, it's not their fault that they have to pick up someone else's pieces, right? That felt really odd. You don't really do that. You don't really throw someone else under the bus if you're having a tough time. Also, the money issue. Yeah, so voice acting sucks for pay a lot of the times. There's two types of work you can get as a voice actor, typically. Well, there's more, but it's split up into union work and non-union work. Obviously, as you can imagine, you get paid more if it's union work. Problem is, people don't want to pay union prices because they're expensive. So, for example, like there was the whole Crunchyroll thing with the Mob Psycho 100 where they recast the entirety of it because they didn't want to pay union rates, which is, I think that's fucked up. That shit was fucked up. So basically, what someone like, maybe, let's say if you were doing non-union work, right, you could charge, just if I had to guess, from what I've done and what I've seen in the past, you could get paid like $50 an hour, right? Which sounds pretty damn good. But the union stuff is like minimum $250 an hour, which sounds insane. You're like, oh my God, these voice actors are eating good. Problem is, as a voice actor, if you're voicing in a game, if you're the main character, yeah, you might get like 20 hours of work, right? That's great. But more often than not, you're like a side character because they're going to give you like one main character and you're not going to have that many lines. You might have maybe 4 hours worth of lines. Like, for example, when I did the Spirit Chronicles anime, I was like the main antagonist. I'm in like 4 or 5 episodes with a somewhat amount of lines. Like, I'd say, I don't know, like maybe like the 6th most in that show. Not a lot, basically. And I did those lines in like 2 hours. Like a whole show, a villain for a show. I did all my lines in 2 hours. And if I'm getting paid $50 an hour, I'm only getting paid $100 for that, right? So that's not a lot. When I had to go through like, if you have to go through like a huge audition process and you're going to have to be auditioning constantly and getting rejected. It's a long thing. It takes a while. So the reason why a lot of the times the pay sounds crazy, it's actually not that much. So when she said $4,000, I was like, that sounds low, but it wouldn't be anything crazy. It wouldn't be like hundreds. It would never be six figures, right? Because voice actors just don't get paid that much in at least for games and stuff. For commercial work, you can get paid that much. You can make like 100 grand from a commercial. Because that's just different, and there's kind of buyout fees, so they don't want to give you residuals. It's a whole other thing. Is that why a lot of EAs work in many series at a time? Yeah, for sure. 4K was for the cameo original amount for Bayonetta 3. Yeah, so 15K makes a lot more sense. 15K would sound about what you would expect to get. Now, obviously, if you've done a gigantically popular game, there's been a popular argument that's been going on for a very long time that some of the voice actors, like voice actors in GTA who do like the main characters, should get like residuals and stuff, right? Because they're recording an absurd amount of lines, you know, and this could be like a tiny percentage, but it would kind of be incentivized to have. It makes more sense to have that kind of hours, and the pay would reflect on the success of the game, right? Another thing with voice actors, and a lot of ways that, because anime pays shit. Anime voice acting pays you like fucking nothing. You don't get much. And the way that a lot of voice actors make their money is through going to conventions, right? If you voice one main character in anime, maybe that translates to 300 convention appearances where you can sign 500 prints, you know? So having the portfolio is almost more important than getting, like, having the role, in a sense of like getting paid for that, because you'll make way more money from other stuff to do with the role. But that there is still, like, because a lot of voice actors don't want to do conventions and stuff like that, right? Because sometimes they're exhausting and you have to travel, and it's a lot, right? Not everyone wants to do them. People want to work with people they know who can deliver. People don't like taking risks in every industry, right? And if you know X guy is good and that he gets the shit done, you hire him. There was a common complaint a while back with voice acting that it was always the same voice actors in English, right? And that did happen a lot. And there's reasons for that, why that was happening at the time. That it seemed like a lot of the same voice actors were popping up. At least back when they were trying to do simul-dubs with anime specifically, they were literally casting these shows, and then like next day they were getting voice actors in the booth who needed to do it as fast as possible. And if you need it as fast as possible, you get people you've worked with who you know are consistent, right? So it's tough. It's pretty weird. It's very odd. It's still happening in games. Yeah, it happens in all of this stuff, because you want people who are consistent and who are good. And so that's why a lot of the times with acting or entertainment or any kind of entertainment, it's just about, you know, getting that consistency down and showing people that you show up on time, you do the thing, and that you're good enough and that you deliver, right? It's not about always being the best person. Obviously, there's some other things involved, and there's some other projects where maybe that is the case, but generally, a lot of the times it's about consistency more than being like the perfect person, as always.